we are joined by Ross Pruden, who's taken time out of his day to talk to us about this Goodbye Promise release of ours. We just launched it today, and this is something that's sort of been marinating in our minds for the last year. Not necessarily to release it on Indiegogo, but to just experiment with releasing Goodbye Promise on a crowdfunding platform. Initially, we were actually thinking Kickstarter, and then Karen had the premonition to say, you know what, I really want to release it on Indiegogo, and then we started to see new things there. But Ross, you're seeing it live for the first time with a few other people today, and you immediately backed it. You gave us a very hefty contribution. You went way above the dollar mark, the $2 mark, and that's really we're super grateful for that. I mean, so you obviously see something here that we're doing that is really registering with you.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Can we just maybe hear some of
Do
your...
tell.
Yeah, do tell.
Absolutely.
Can you share some of your thoughts?
Yeah, so one of the first things I look at whenever I'm looking at a crowdfunding campaign is what the $1 perk is. First of all, if there's a $1 perk. If there's no perk, then that's an indicator that people don't really know what they're doing. I mean, to be blunt about it, because a $1 perk is a very, very cheap indicator. It's a cheap way to offer people a way to buy in and find out what's going on with your project. So at a bare minimum, you should be offering it just to say, get our updates for only $1. It doesn't cost very much. But when you truly offer something that doesn't cost anything for you to send for $1, you're really maximizing the internet, because the internet just loves to be able to distribute things easily for free. So if you're charging $1 for something that effectively is free for you to make, you're actually making a profit margin of $1. Now, whenever I go to a crowdfunding program, a platform like Kickstarter, that's great if you're trying to raise $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, but no one raises $1 million on Kickstarter. They'd be crazy unless they have a really amazing project. So most of the time, people go to Kickstarter because it's an all or nothing, and you get people riled up and they're really excited, and they in the last day or two, all the money comes in, which is great in a sense. But it is an all or nothing campaign. So I usually don't look at Indiegogo simply because of that reason. But there are some cases where Indiegogo really excels. And this project is absolutely one of them. I looked at it, and one of the first things I saw was, wow, they're trying to raise $1 million. That's awesome, because even if they don't, it's Indiegogo. They get to keep whatever they have raised. And their first perk is $1, and you get to rent the film for $1. That's a great bargain in and of itself. So that's the first thing I looked at. And then I realized, because most of the, everyone gets greedy. They think, oh, we have to offer $10, $25, $50 perks and nothing lower than 10. And I don't see any reason why you have to do that. You can offer a $1 perk and a $2 perk like you've offered, and it can be very successful. If your objective is to make some of the money back that it took you to make this film and expand your fan base, you can't do any better than $1. Apart from free, but $1 is effectively free. So when I saw this, I immediately said to myself, these people get it. They understand how to leverage the internet for themselves. And that, I believe in rewarding people who get it. And so that's why I donated so much. The only thing that I really wanted to see on this was, what if I wanted to buy the film or up my pledge later on in the campaign, if I could see like a DVD or some other kind of scarcity that I can't get any other way, then it would be awesome. So anyway, those are my initial thoughts.
And I like that. One thing about the DVD is, of course, the cost to make them. What if we were to do maybe behind-the-scenes footage for an additional amount? Do you think that would be of interest, or is that sort of just fluff? You think that would be okay?
It's hard to tell what the price point for that is. People usually buy behind-the-scenes footage bundled with the DVD, so they've come to expect that. Yeah. But if I like the film, if I watch it instantly for $1, then yeah, I mean, I would probably up my pledge to, if I were just donating $1 or $2, and I thought, oh wow, I can get to see some of the behind the scenes footage. That's probably worth another couple of dollars or something. Sure.
Okay.
Sure, but not 50 or 60 or so. It depends on how avid a fan are you. You know, if people really love your film, they love everything about it, they'll pay a lot more for it. So.
Sure.
One thing we want to kind of do with this conversation, Ross, is really, Karen and I do so much of interviewing other people. In this case, one thing we're going to be doing with our release of Goodbye Promise is turning to other people that have expertise, such as yourself, in this area, in and out of the film world. Turn to you as mentors and really, turn over the reins a little bit to you. So at any point, if you have questions, if you have thoughts that are turning in your head that you want to turn on us and maybe we can answer, we'd love for that to be part of this conversation. So I just wanted to throw that out there. To address the DVD thing, I guess, really at this point in time, I guess what we're looking at here is the number one thing is we wanted to get the film out to people immediately. We didn't. It's such a small film. When we shot it, we didn't have a production budget. All we had was a camera and some passionate people, actors that wanted to be involved and sort of see if we could capture this feeling of what it's like to be, pursuing this dream in LA day in, day out. So that's kind of what we're doing. And oh wow, I've totally lost my thought already. I don't even know where I'm going here. Go ahead, Karen.
Okay, this might be diverting it a little bit. Since you said you do have our campaign up on your screen, do you think the message is clear? Do you think there's anything we're leaving out? Is it overkill with the photos? Should we maybe have more photos? No,
I think actually, all in all, it's a good campaign. It's succinct enough. It has. I absolutely think you have to have photographs and you have to have a video.
Okay.
The only thing that's really missing, honestly, are additional tiers. I would add more tiers, more perks, and they don't. I mean, here I am talking about more perks. I've got like 17 or 18 perks on mine, but I mean, I've donated $25 because I believe in you guys and I've followed you guys for so long, and in part I'm probably an outlier in that respect because this is not for people like me. This is for people who've never heard about this film necessarily. So the second degree is going to be, like, I'm the first degree of separation. Second degree of separation is going to look at this campaign and they're going to say, sure, what the heck, $1, $2, that's not that much. And I know someone else, like a friend of mine, who's already rented it. But then what happens if they really like it and they want to donate more, up their pledge, or they want to get some sort of souvenir from you? Okay. Because I think that's really what it is. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. I got the DVD of, what is it, that movie about the 9/11 hijackers. I can't remember the name of it. By Greengrass.
Paul Greengrass.
I'm sorry?
Is it Paul Greengrass?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
Amazing film. I've seen it one time, but I felt it was the kind of thing that I had to have a DVD of. And I've watched it one time. And it's one of those films that you can really only watch one time or maybe two times because it's so depressing, but it's such a moving experience that you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to own that. I have to own a piece of that. So offering people a chance to have some sort of a souvenir, like a touchstone where they say, this was a great experience and I want something to remember it by, or use it as a conversation point. Like, have you seen Goodbye Promise? You're an actor. You really love this, Yeah, I paid for the rental, but there's nothing that I can show you. It's online, but I can't remember the link. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. I'd probably add some more perks if I were in your shoes. But all in all, I think it's a great campaign.
Oh, well, great. Well, I'm wondering, though, what types of perks, though? Because, sometimes you see, oh, hey, you get a mug, or you get a mouse pad, or you get a T-shirt, and it sounds nice in theory, but we know from marketing T-shirts,
Sure.
Film Courage, it's not a huge moneymaker. And then you hear someone like Troy Duffy who makes his living from T-shirts for Boondock Saints. So we haven't definitely crossed over to that line. What's a rewarding perk that matter?
I think this is one of the most frustrating things for people who don't really understand crowdfunding and understand the new way of selling things, is that it's not going to be a T-shirt for everyone, right? It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of perk. You look back to what the topic is about, what it is that you're selling, and what you're selling here is very clearly a life in the day of an actor, or the trials and tribulations of what it means to go to cattle calls and to face rejection, and what do you do at the end of it. So I always look at what the project is, what tangible things or something that is truly unique to the story that you can offer someone that they could not really get from anyone else. So, for example, and I'm just talking off the top of my head here, but you could send a thank you card, but the thank you card would be in the format of a cattle call sheet, right? So something that actors can relate to, and that people who maybe are not even actors get a glimpse of what it's like to feel like going to an audition. Or you send them an audition tape, or you send them, all these things that an actor would experience. That experience is reflected in some of the souvenirs of the perks. I don't know if that really answers your question, but I'm just kind of riffing here.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that.
Let me sort of address. Let me address the higher perks. Because I do fully agree with you that it would be great to have those higher tier perks. I guess where we're coming from with this campaign is, obviously we've set sort of the impossible goal. We don't necessarily expect to come anywhere near that goal, but at the same time, we didn't want to cap it off. We believe our audience is somewhere between 100 and 1 million, and I've said already that it's probably it's probably closer to 100. It's probably closer to 100, and we know that. But a plant is going to grow. Like if you put a plant in a jar, it's going to grow to the size of the jar. With the internet, we have the ability. We don't know how far that can spread, so we didn't want to cap it. We just wanted to open it up and let it be free. So that certainly goes into what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to make this as simple for us as it is for people to see the film. So it was very important that we're essentially using Indiegogo as sort of like to receive payment, and we're granting people access to the film. And we just had a conversation with Gregory Bain, and he said, like, don't be cagey with your work. And we didn't want to be cagey. We wanted, like right now, if you want to see the movie for free, you can see the movie for free. We can't stop you. Indiegogo's it's different from Kickstarter in the sense that you can't do private updates. So when we crafted the idea was, pay through the site and then and then it would only be available to the people that are supporting it, because it would be hidden in the update section, which is only accessible to those who have contributed. But at this point in time, Indiegogo is set up where it's public. They don't have private updates. So we had to sort of just say, okay, we're going to go ahead and do this anyway, which to some degree is kind of scary, but we wanted to do that. But really, we wanted to automate it. We didn't want to be stuck where we're going to have to be fulfilling orders from now, like for the next 6 months. We wanted to just have it so that you're very simply getting the film. That's what it is. We're not trying to overcomplicate it. And we're just trying to reach as many people as possible. We realize we probably not going to reach 1 million. Once again, you don't know what the power of the internet, what could happen. So we just we let it be, and we'll just reach people one by one. That's the plan. So we're just trying to automate it. That's all. It gets really sort of like, recently I was able to sit down and listen to Adam Chapnick speak. He had a presentation in Santa Monica at the Apple store, and he spoke about the angry video game nerd who had a very successful campaign on Indiegogo, and he had some of these higher tier rewards, and here he is months later, or I don't know if he's fulfilled them all by now, but his campaign was far more successful than he thought it was going to be. I think it was, maybe I might have the numbers wrong here. I think it was a $75,000 goal, and I think he raised over $200,000.
Wow.
And so there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people that contributed at those higher levels, but then it demanded more of his time. So instead of putting more time into your work, you end up putting more time into fulfillment, and that's why what we decided to do instead is we decided, well, let's try to, instead of having like individual rewards for backers. I don't know if you see at the bottom of the page, but it's in its baby stages right now. But we have group incentives. So
yeah, I saw that.
You know, so we decided, like, okay, we can afford to send out a tweet for the first 228 people, and then if we happen to reach 500, we'll have stuff that we can share with everybody, that we can put out to everybody, that doesn't necessarily demand the amount of time that it would take to fulfill individual rewards.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I noticed two different campaigns that were both extremely successful, and they had totally different approaches to merchandise fulfillment. One of them was, of course, the Amanda Palmer campaign, and she raised 1.2 million, and all told, she's keeping about $40,000, which doesn't sound like, wait, where does all that money go? Well, first of all, she had a lot of debt that she had to wipe off. It was something like $225,000 of debt.
Wow.
And then she had to pay her lawyers and her agent and her manager. And then she had fulfillment costs. And I mean, you know, and of course, Kickstarter takes their cut, Amazon takes their cut. And then pretty soon it's, you know, a very small amount of money really that she's left with. And she goes, you know, I'm okay with that because it's part of a larger plan to make money when I go on tour. Because her objective isn't to make money from the Kickstarter. Her objective is to release an album and build her fan base, to really solidify it, so that when she goes on tour, people are craving that chance to see her in concert. So as part of a larger plan, it made a lot of sense. But then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is Z Frank's Kickstarter, which he did a really interesting post-mortem on it. And his approach was more like what you're talking about, where you don't want to offer something that is too expensive to ship, to produce, get the materials for, produce it, ship it. It's just, if you're spending 70 to 90% of what it takes to actually pay for the thing, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because he was trying to raise money for his TV show. So he clamped down really hard on making sure that if someone paid $10, that it only cost him $1 or $2 to make it and ship it. So, I mean, they're different, you know, he wasn't going on tour like Amanda Palmer was. It was a totally different situation. I mean, in your case, the movie's already made, right? So it's a sunk cost. If you can make any money off of it, that's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question, but
that's great insight.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that about Amanda Palmer. That's
wow.
really fascinating.
That's really staggering.
Wow.
Yeah.
That she's walking with $40,000 after all. Wow, you just would not expect that at all.
No.
Well, her whole strategy is not about making money. It's about making fans. And the fans, the stronger, more avid fan you have. I mean, I'm a huge fan of you guys. That's why I gave you $25, even though I didn't need to, because I'm like, I support these guys. They've given so much to the community. They deserve to have some sort of payback, and I feel like I'm getting, you know, that you guys are getting stiffed, and I got the good end of the bargain because I got a chance to donate to people that I really wanted to. That's what your show has. Your show has done such a great step in the direction of building a strong fan community. So
thank you.
No, thank you, Ross. Nice. That really means a lot, you know, and you know, one thing, I mean, you kind of bring up the price point there, you know, or maybe we can touch on the price point, you know, and this is something that Karen and I have gone back and forth with, was you know, what should be that price point? You know, I've been really adamant that, like, I want $1 price point, you know, because you know, and you know, we're hearing that quite a bit in terms of just having things be frictionless, you know, and of course, you know, we could always have it be a higher price point, whatever, $3, $4, $5, and a lot of people, you know, maybe like you that are the stalwart supporters will be like, absolutely, we'll pay that. You know, I'm certainly concerned with once we get beyond that inner circle, you know, those close friends and family, you know, the visionaries that jump on early. Once you get beyond that, and then you're kind of stuck, and it's like the people that don't know you and they're looking at it and they're like, well, you know, $4 or $5 can be a lot to some other people, especially if that connection doesn't exist.
Sure.
So
Exactly.
But at the same time, Karen's like, I don't want to just charge $1. She's like, I want to. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Oh no, I mean I'm fine. We just thought maybe there should be. I was thinking more $2.99, but I think our agreement was $2 after the initial 100 people to jump on. So you know, we'll see how that works. But I like, you know, the idea of additional perks, and you can add them as the campaign goes along. So we're not sure what that might be. It has to be something compelling enough, and I like what you're saying about having it be something about an actor's journey. But you know, just also too, what Gregory Bain was saying in the same light as you are, just moving that needle along, just the way Amanda Palmer, not to see the dollar amount, but just to see more eyeballs, you know, fans, people that care about what you do. So
yeah, you know,
if you look at it from that point, it's great.
Yeah,
she had over 23,000 donors.
Wow.
And I think just over 4,300, if I remember correctly, were simply $1 backers.
Wow.
But for $1 backers, you got access. You got access to all of the content of all of her entire album before anyone else.
Wow.
Right. So, I mean, you're not just paying for her whole album, which is like 12 or 13, 15 songs. You're paying for access to the album, which is, I think, a huge distinction. Because once it's done, I mean, she may put it up on iTunes. She probably almost definitely will. But she doesn't really care at that point. It's more about getting those people in and seeing what she does, and then upselling them to someone else. And I myself, I'm not a huge Amanda Palmer fan, or I didn't used to be. But when I looked at that, I'm like, gosh, $1, that's nothing. I mean, I'll throw up, what's $1? That's nothing. Sure. So you buy in. I bought in for $1 initially. I was about to, and then I looked at the $25 CD. It was like a limited edition CD. Won't be made after this campaign. I'm like, okay, why not? $25. So I put in $25, and then later in the campaign, I upped it to $125 because she was offering an art book that looked amazing. The whole campaign, she's talking about this art book, and she's a really good artist too. So I feel like, wow, I mean, I would never spend $125 on an art book, but I feel like this is a limited edition opportunity, and I get to brag about it when it's done. Dudes, I got this one, you know, I got this $125 art book. It's awesome. And nobody else has this except for me, you know, and all the people who bought it with me. So I don't think that can be underestimated. There's a huge potential. I went from $1 to $25 to $125. Wow. So.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah, no. Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, it's just not only is it just her work but it's the legacy of the campaign. I mean, just in passing yesterday, I heard 2 people talking about it. So, yeah, I think, and that will carry people over, because whenever crowdfunding comes up, oh well, did you know about Amanda Palmer? And then she's got more people going to what she does.
Yep.
Even though the campaign's over, so she has that residual effect of the campaign.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate this. I heard someone say, whenever you're calling around to a producer to have them read your screenplay, be really nice to the receptionist, because one day they may run the studio, right? So it's the $1, you know, the $1 people may end up becoming your most avid fans. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Got to take a long-term view of it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're I mean, this is the first day, and this is going to be a short campaign. It's just like a 31-day campaign, I believe. We got it up mid-morning at like 4 in the morning last night, just, you know, after a long day and not getting home till late at night, and then just working all night to launch it. But we see some interesting things happening already. I believe we've had 16 contributors so far, and we do have, you know, we have the $1 you know, price point, which is for the early birds, and it's limited edition. It's 100 people can get it for $1 right now, and then the other standard perk is $2. And we're finding that a lot of people, so far at least, are electing just to go for $2 or more, which is really encouraging to see that. And that's what we were kind of wondering coming into this, like what would that situation be? And another takeaway so far is we had we originally raised money on Kickstarter to help with post-production costs, and so far a few of those people have come over and they've thrown in another buck or two, which is really, really cool to see. So,
Nice.
I mean, obviously, yeah, you say it'd be great to have like a bundle or something, for more to give people, but right now we just think this is the best way for us to reach people with this project.
Yeah, cool.
And Ross, do you think that the 31 days is adequate time? Do you think it should have been longer?
No, I think that seems to be what a lot of people out there do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's there's no real deadline for it. I mean, if your goal is to raise $1 million, then 30 days may be too short. But I think your goal really is to get as much money as you can within 30 days. I think that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But again, it's not about the money. It's really just about seeing who your fans are.
Yeah.
Now, I don't actually know that much about Indiegogo. Do you get emails of the people that contribute?
We've it's interesting. I don't know if they're actually sending us the actual email addresses. I have to take a closer look because when it comes into our Gmail, it's kind of like you have to click on the thing where it says like display images or whatever, and it's kind of like hidden the way it comes in. But we are receiving the notifications like and it's all grouped together in Gmail. So like I said, we have like 16 emails that are all grouped together right now. I don't know if the actual email address is there, which was certainly something that we're hoping for, because it would be great to have the email access.
Sure.
I guess we'll have a clearer idea very soon. We'll take a closer look and see. We do have the ability to message people within the Indiegogo platform. So if they're signed up, we can. But I don't know if we can. And I know if we update, then obviously it's going to go to everyone that's contributed.
Right.
So that'll sort of serve as the email. I don't know if we have the actual email address. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And in terms of updates, can you think of some fun things that we could do that sort of think outside the box type of updates?
The blooper reel that you did for Christmas still has me chuckling. So I don't know if that's something that you can whip together, but so far as fun perks, there's a really fun program for the iPhone called, I think it's called Frameographer. I can't remember. It's basically time lapse, and it's really easy and fun to do time lapse photography. And one of the perks that I wanted to do for my campaign was if I hit a certain number of people. I don't know, I've forgotten what my plan was, but if I had a certain number of people within a certain amount of time, I would do a time-lapse shoot of me writing one of the stories in the campaign, which I think would be, you could do like a series version and a totally silly version and put them back to back. I think that would be really funny. So I don't know, I mean, it's, what are some of the fun things that you got? I'm not asking you, this is food for thought. What are some of the fun things that you do in doing this film and doing this Kickstarter that you've really been telling stories about to each other and all your friends, like you wouldn't believe what happened? That's usually great fodder for perks. I can't really think of anything in particular right this second, but it's about telling stories. It's always a really good place to start.
Yeah, I like the time lapse idea. I'm wondering with the comedy, you think it's appropriate, even though it's more of a drama, just to bring some lightheartedness into it, so it's not too sort of depressing? You think that's okay? Because we're all about the comedy.
It's project dependent, right? So people who are interested in this particular project, you have to ask yourself, what exactly is it that they're watching this film for? And that's not always a really easy question to answer. I personally come from an acting background, so I immediately relate to a lot of this stuff already. And in part, it's one of the reasons why I stopped being an actor, because it's so hard. And this is something that Adam Chapnick actually brought to my attention. If you put your project in a larger movement, in some sort of social direction, then your film has real legs, because in this case, the actors go through probably depression. They go through self-confidence issues. I mean, it's really hard being an actor, and that might be part of what you could offer, is some sort of connection, some sort of affiliation with an actors group, or maybe, suicide prevention. Maybe that's extreme, but you get the idea, is that it can be outreach to a sector that's somewhat related to this topic, that can then say, hey, if you find it difficult to have self-confidence in your life, then this might be a film that you can relate to. As that relates to tiers and perks, tricky. I mean, I guess that I'd have to think about it. Like I say, it's project specific, so it's really, you got to know a lot about the project and get into the minds of the people in the audience.
Do you have something?
No, that's good. That's
okay.
great.
No, thank you, Ross. What I want to touch on is maybe we can continue to learn more, because do we understand it right that you're getting ready to launch your own crowdfunding campaign tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, huh?
Tomorrow at 10 a.m., yeah.
10 a.m. So tell us about some of the work you've been doing behind the scenes, and what is this project you're getting ready to launch? So
about a year ago, less than a year ago, I was at Story World in San Francisco, which is the first annual conference for transmedia people, so lots of different kinds of people. And I had a meeting with a friend of mine who was a very good author, and we were trying to come up with ways for authors to make money and not have to worry about piracy and competitive markets and the internet, when everything can be copied. So and it was very similar to what I did with you guys. I sat there, and as I was sitting there, I felt this overwhelming urge to say, man, he's such a good writer. I would love it if he wrote a story just for me. So that's the origin of this whole thing. I thought, what do I have in my pocket? I reached around, I pulled out $10, and I say, I'll pay you $10 for a 100-word story. And I wrote on the $10 bill, and I gave it to him. So from that, I realized $10 works down to about 1 dime per word. So that's the idea for this campaign, is that, okay, maybe if I offer my fans, my friends, my followers, my family an option to pay $10 for a 100-word story, it's not that much, but the idea is to commission a story, and then once it's paid for, I don't have to worry about licensing issues or piracy. I set it loose into the wild, public domain, forever and ever, and I want you to copy it. I want you to share it. I want you to remix it, sell it. I don't care. The point is, I want to build the fans. And once I have that list of 100 donors, write a bonus story that's tied to the number of donors in that campaign. So if I get 10,000 donors, I'll write a 10,000-word bonus story. So if it really goes viral, and I hope, of course, we all hope our projects go viral, but if this one does, and I get 100,000 donors, I'll have to write a 100,000-word novel. But it'll be in the public domain. So that's the idea, is to really leverage it, really let the internet copy things. So, and $1 gets you all the stories. That's the best part of all.
Now, leading up to today, behind the scenes, it has been stressful for Karen and I. Just trying to get things ready, and it just gets to a point where it's just like you've had the idea for so long, and you just have to say, you know what, we're gonna do this, even if this is the most insane idea ever. We're just gonna launch it and just follow through and just kind of hold to that sort of promise we've made to ourselves. Can maybe you speak on some of the fear? The fear and the expectations that you have, because you're getting ready to do this tomorrow. So can you tell me a little bit about your mental?
It's
mindset?
terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. You're putting your ass on the line, and you're hoping that people don't laugh their butts off at you. I mean, it's like being an actor. You walk in, you think, okay, I'm going to do my best, and I really hope they don't laugh as the door is closing behind me.
Yeah.
So yeah. And as I was telling someone today, I'm a huge numbers guy. I analyze things over and over and over again. And, I've realized you just have to acknowledge that it's there, step to the side, and keep going. And it's, you got to pull the trigger at some point. And another way to look at this, at least for me, for this particular project, is that it's one big experiment. And if it fails, it's not the end of the world. I don't have everything riding on this. In part, I don't have to worry about not making goal, because then that means I don't have to do any of the writing. So, I'm being paid on the front end instead of on the back end. So, but yeah, it is a terrifying experience, because you do the best that you possibly can, and then you just cross your fingers and hope it doesn't blow up.
So do you have it set up? So this campaign is on Kickstarter, is that right?
Tomorrow.
It will be as of tomorrow morning.
It's on
tomorrow
Kickstarter.
Morning, 10 o'clock.
And how long is the campaign?
It's going to go until the 14th of September, I think. Let me just double check the dates.
Oh, wow, so we have like parallel efforts here.
Right.
We're doing this at the same time. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
And do you have a video that you're doing?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a video, Ross, that you're doing with this campaign, or?
Yeah, I've shot it up here on my driveway.
Oh, very cool.
And had to wait for cars to stop going by, and planes and birds and stuff. But yeah, I shot a video for it, which I think no crowdfunding campaign can get away with without a good video, because it helps you really connect with your audience. I hadn't seen a cousin for years, and she sent an email to me of pictures from her wedding, which I didn't even know that she'd gotten married. I'd heard that she'd gotten married. And when I saw the photos, I had this just overwhelming urge to pick up the phone and call her. I didn't have her phone number, so I sent her an email. And it really just drove the point home that you have to have a visual reference. People respond to visual input, whether it's just a picture, but a video is great because they can relate to you. They understand, it's facial movements, so it's really matters. Matters a big deal.
And how much effort did you put into the video?
Probably the writing. I probably put, all told, about 8 or 9 hours of writing. Writing, cutting, starting over, writing, cutting, over and over and over and over. And then the shooting of it, I mean, oh my God, I can't even tell you how many times I probably did. Not 10 takes until I finally went with the last take, because it was all just one take, and it wasn't perfect, but it was one take, and it was genuine. I started out with a really rigid, like, I'm going to get absolutely everything in there, and then I realized people don't want that. They want authenticity. Whenever we watch American Idol or acting or anything, people respond to someone who's being genuine. They respond to authenticity. They want the real thing. That's why we love drama. We want something real, and the more real it is, the more powerful it is. So yeah, I spent a long time, probably a week, I would say, all told.
Oh, wow.
And did you have anyone helping you, like, frame the shot? I mean, or are you literally setting up the camera and then running in, pressing record, running in front, and doing it that way, or how did you?
Yeah, but that's me.
Yeah.
Well, even worse, I had to be like, okay, when are the kids away? When's my wife away? Okay, is everyone away from me?
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. And then just finding time where I'm not falling asleep to do all the stuff that I need to do.
Yeah, that was something. We literally pushed our, because Karen was like, Dave, we need to shoot this pitch video. We need to get this going, and it just, our life has been, as you can imagine, we just have a lot going on every day, and so like just barely being able to keep up with everything we're doing. It's like, just because of that, we ended up sort of procrastinating and just pushing the pitch video into the last couple of days. So it was like really just getting that thing down under the wire, and and that's the main thing we were going for. We were going for sincerity. We wanted to sort of show our authenticity. You have a little visitor there. Very cute.
How cute! You have 2.
Oh wow!
I have 2.
Hi.
Come on, you can come in here too. So I'd like you to introduce Zoe. She's my agent.
Oh, hi Zoe.
And then Penny over here, I don't know if you can see her.
Yeah,
that's my manager.
Hi, Penny.
Oh, okay, great. So the team Ross.
Yeah, this is great.
That's really
so anyway, yeah.
Wow.
Can you stand up a little bit? Can you stand up on here?
I can see Zoe's like she's sizing us up. She's a hard negotiator.
Yeah. Hi.
No, she's
So,
sweet.
These girls are upstairs watching on TV.
Aw.
I can't do another one.
All right. Well, I guess we should probably call an end to it because you know this is my other co-production right here.
Okay, all right.
Well, Ross,
Well,
thank you for taking
beautiful
time out.
production. Thank you.
So just give us finally just give us information on DIMEWORD. What, you know, what's the full rundown?
So DIMEWORD is funding funding public domain literature, modern public domain
We
literature.
don't know how to do another one.
It's $1 to buy all the stories. It's $10 to commission your own story. Sweetie, shh, in just a second. And you can follow us on Twitter at DIMEWORD, and that's where we'll be posting a lot of the information. But yeah, just do a search tomorrow for DIMEWORD or my name on Kickstarter, and it will probably come up. You'll know it's me.
Ross,
Alright, that's
Ross,
awesome. Thank you.
we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
for
so
taking
much.
time out.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. I hope you guys clear 1 million in 30 days.
Thank you. Yeah.
Be awesome.
We'll give it our best shot. Thank you, Ross.
All right, thank you, Ross.
All right, thank you.
Bye, ladies.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.